The steam from my teacup fogged my glasses just as my daughter's face lit up on the laptop screen. Mom, tilt the camera, I can barely see you. Vanessa laughed, that high, practiced laugh she always used when she wanted something. Behind her, sunlight poured through a kitchen window so spotless it could have been a showroom. Sebastian's voice came from somewhere off-screen. Hi, Olivia, how's our favorite retiree? I smiled the way I'd learned to. Small, polite, invisible. Just fine, dear, it's cold here today. I rubbed the mug for warmth, the chipped handle pressing into my palm. I'd had that cup since my husband, Harold, bought it on a trip to Maine 40 years ago. Caroline, my granddaughter, 14 and sweet as sunlight when she wanted to be, leaned into the frame. Grandma, guess what? We're doing Italy next summer. Her eyes sparkled. I felt my throat tighten. Italy, that's wonderful. Vanessa nodded, hair perfectly smooth. Yes, but well, tickets are outrageous and the house needs a new water heater. It's been such a strain. We've been meaning to talk to you about that little account. What did you call it, your cushion? She smiled as if it were a shared joke. I felt the kitchen's hum, fridge motor, the quiet tick of the wall clock grow louder. The savings account, I said, keeping my voice light. My fingers tightened around the mug until I felt the faint sting of heat. Oh, Mom, don't look like that. Vanessa's tone softened but didn't bend. It's not like we're asking for all of it, just a loan, temporary. Sebastian appeared then, his sleeves rolled, tie loose, looking tired but polished. You've been such a blessing to us, he said. We'll make sure you're comfortable in every way, it's just right now this would help us breathe. I heard the fridge stop humming. The silence was almost alive. Caroline was giggling about gelato, my stomach twisted. Then my phone buzzed beside the mug, a message from the bank, large transfer pending approval. My smile froze. Oh, I see, I said softly. Vanessa tilted her head, still smiling. You're the best, Mom. I nodded, but inside something small and sharp cracked open. A hairline split in the surface of a very old yes. Outside, wind brushed the kitchen window. Cold air leaked through the edges. I shivered and looked down at the mug, at my reflection wobbling in the tea. It looked like a woman I almost didn't recognize. The phone buzzed again, same number. Transfer scheduled for 11:00 a.m. tomorrow. The first time Vanessa asked for money, Harold had been dead less than a month. His shoes were still by the door. I remember her standing there in her beige coat, twisting her wedding ring like a nervous teenager. Just until Sebastian gets his bonus, she said, eyes glassy but dry. You know how it is. I did know, grief makes you soft in the wrong places. I signed the check without reading the amount. She hugged me too tightly, like a nurse restraining a patient. That night, I found one of Harold's flannel shirts on the bed and cried into it until the fabric smelled of salt and old aftershave. Later, there was the birthday dinner, mine, though it didn't feel like it. The restaurant was too loud, the kind where plates clatter and everyone talks over everyone else. Vanessa handed me a card with a butterfly on it. Inside was a photo of Caroline holding a "Thank you, Grandma" sign. You're our rock, Vanessa said, and when the check came, she glanced at me, then away, as if the decision were already made. Sebastian laughed when I reached for my purse. We'll get the next one, he said, but his hand didn't move toward the bill. The blue coin purse sat in my bag, small and old-fashioned, with faded enamel flowers. My mother had given it to me on my wedding day. Say yes when it brings you joy, she'd said. Say no when it costs your peace. For years, I'd kept a folded note inside it, Harold's handwriting, one line, don't let them make you small. I hadn't looked at that note in a long time. The smell of garlic bread and expensive perfume filled the table. Caroline's laughter was pure and sharp like a bell. I paid, everyone smiled. The waiter thanked me by name. Later that night, I found a receipt in my coat pocket. Vanessa had added wine after I'd given the card. You wanted the full experience, she'd said when I asked. Her voice had that edge that meant I was being ungrateful. I started keeping a notebook of expenses. Tiny numbers hidden in a kitchen drawer under Harold's old screwdriver. It felt almost disloyal to write them down, as if I were accusing my own child of theft. But the numbers grew, and the notebook got heavier somehow. Once, when I mentioned a trip to see an old friend in Oregon, Vanessa smiled too sweetly. You could, she said, but who would help us with Caroline's braces? The guilt hit like cold rain. Now, sitting in my kitchen decades later, I touched that same blue coin purse. The enamel was chipped, the clasp loose. Inside was the note. The paper had gone soft from age and handling. I realized then it wasn't love Vanessa wanted, it was access. The next morning, I'd be at the bank, with the purse in my hand and a plan. I got to the bank 15 minutes early. The glass doors reflected the gray morning, and for a moment I saw myself doubled, small, hunched, holding my mother's coin purse like a talisman. Inside, the air smelled of toner and metal, that cold scent of machines that never stopped counting. The text from Sebastian had come as I locked my front door. Please don't make this complicated, Olivia. We'll handle everything once it's through. That word, handle, echoed all the way to the teller line. Good morning, Mrs. Sanders, the teller said. Her name tag read Nora. I'd seen her before, cheerful, maybe 30. I handed her the slip. I'm here to complete a transfer, 30,000. My voice sounded steady, but my hands trembled. She typed something, then looked up. Oh, yes, to Mr. and Mrs. Hall. Her tone faltered just slightly. Is that correct? Yes, I said. That's my daughter and son-in-law. All right, she said carefully. We'll just need your signature here and here. I took the pen. It was heavier than I expected, the metal cool against my fingers. Behind me, someone coughed. The clock above the teller window ticked louder than it should have. I looked down at the paper, my name printed neatly. The amount, the account number, my chest tightened. 30,000, almost everything. I remembered Vanessa's voice last night on the phone, calm, syrupy. It's just paperwork, Mom, don't overthink it. You've always said family comes first. I pressed the pen to the paper. The blue coin purse sat beside me on the counter. I opened it just enough to feel the folded note inside. Don't let them make you small. Nora's voice was soft. Are you sure you want to do this today? Something in her tone made me look up. Her eyes flicked toward the manager's office, then back to me. I signed my name, but underneath it in tiny, shaking letters, I wrote 2 words: help coercion. My pulse thudded in my ears. Nora blinked, then nodded once, barely perceptible. Thank you, Mrs. Sanders, she said. If you'll just wait a moment, I'll have my manager review this before processing. It's policy for large transfers. I swallowed, of course. She walked quickly to a man in a navy suit near the back. They spoke in low voices. The man's expression changed, concern first, then something sharper. He looked at me, then at the screen. My phone buzzed again. Vanessa, did you sign yet? I typed almost. The manager walked toward me, calm but purposeful. Why did Nora look scared for me? The manager stopped beside me and said quietly, Mrs. Sanders, can we talk in my office privately? The office was small and too bright, the kind of brightness that exposes every crease in your skin. The blinds hummed as the air conditioner kicked on. I sat across from the manager. His name was Mr. Avery, according to the brass plate on his desk. He had kind eyes and a voice that carried the quiet weight of someone used to bad news. Nora showed me your note, he said. Can you tell me what's happening? My throat tightened. I could hear the faint tapping of keyboards outside, the rustle of paper. My daughter, I said finally, and her husband, they said they needed help just this once, but it's never just once. Mr. Avery nodded slowly. Did they pressure you to make this transfer? The word pressure felt too soft. They told me I wouldn't see my granddaughter if I didn't. He leaned back. That's not okay. He picked up the phone on his desk and dialed a number. We're halting the transfer, he told the person on the line. Then to me, you did the right thing, Mrs. Sanders. My stomach twisted. They'll be angry. He folded his hands. Better angry than bankrupt. I tried to smile, but my lips shook. You don't understand. Vanessa can turn anything into guilt. She'll say I'm ruining their lives. Just then my phone started ringing, Vanessa's face on the screen. Mr. Avery motioned for me to answer on speaker. I hesitated, then pressed it. Mom, why are you still there? Her voice was clipped sharp. Sebastian's been waiting for confirmation for half an hour. Mr. Avery spoke calmly. Mrs. Hall, this is Daniel Avery, branch manager at First State Bank. We've paused the transfer due to concerns about financial coercion. There was silence, then a burst of laughter, brittle, high. Coercion, that's my mother, she wants to help us. Mr. Avery's tone didn't waver. It's standard procedure when we suspect elder abuse. The word hung in the air like a gunshot. Elder abuse, Vanessa snapped. That's ridiculous, Mom, tell him this is a mistake. I opened my mouth, but no words came. My tongue felt heavy. Mr. Avery looked at me gently. Mrs. Sanders, you're safe here. You don't need to authorize anything you don't want. Mom, Vanessa's voice cracked, the way it used to when she didn't get her way as a child. Do you want me to lose the house, Caroline's school? You're really doing this to us. The room seemed to shrink. The sound of her crying through the speaker was sharp, artificial, but it still cut me open. I'll call you later, I whispered, and ended the call. Mr. Avery exhaled. That was brave. Outside, a woman at the next desk looked up, startled, clearly having heard. A man near the door muttered, good for her. Mr. Avery pulled up my file. We've also found repeated attempts from their names on a joint account you opened 3 years ago, trying to move 12,000 without your approval. Our system flagged it but didn't notify you at the time. I blinked. They tried before. He nodded multiple times. The fluorescent lights buzzed, a sound like static in my ears. I stared at the screen and said, almost to myself, so it was never about helping, it was about taking. I don't remember collapsing, just the sound of chairs scraping and Nora's voice shouting, call 911. Then the world tilted sideways and everything went gray like snow on an old TV. When I woke, I was in the hospital. The ceiling lights buzzed faintly. A nurse adjusted something on my wrist, plastic tag, IV tube, the faint antiseptic smell of alcohol swabs and latex gloves. "You're at St. Mary, Mrs. Sanders," she said softly. "You fainted at the bank." My mouth was dry. "How long?" "Just a few hours," she smiled. "They said you handled yourself very well." Mr. Avery came later that afternoon. His tie was gone, sleeves rolled. He looked like someone who'd stayed after closing. "You scared us," he said gently, "but you're okay now. We've documented everything." He handed me a folder. Inside were copies of the bank report, the attempted transfer forms, and a printed log of the flagged activity from the old joint account. Lines of black and white proof, dates, amounts, initials. I ran my finger down the page and felt my throat tighten again. "Will this," I started, then stopped. "Will this go on record?" "Yes, we've filed it under Elder Financial Abuse Prevention," he said. "You're protected now." The doctor came in then, tapping the chart. "Good news," he said. "Just stress and dehydration. Your blood pressure was high, but nothing permanent." I nodded, but the words felt far away. My phone buzzed on the tray beside me, 15 missed calls from Vanessa. A new message from Sebastian: "You've embarrassed us beyond repair. Don't expect us to visit again." Mr. Avery glanced at it. "You don't owe them a response," he said. I stared at the glowing screen until the letters blurred, then I turned it face down. "I always told myself it was just money," I whispered. "But it's more, isn't it?" He nodded. "It's control." Later that night, the nurse dimmed the lights. The monitors beeped softly, rhythmic and cold. I held the folder against my chest like armor. Each page felt heavier than the next, the evidence of years I'd tried not to see. I opened the top sheet again. Attempted unauthorized transfer, $12,000, origin, joint account. The signature line read Vanessa Hall. My vision blurred, but this time I didn't cry. Something inside me had shifted. The part that always apologized had gone quiet. Outside the window, rain tapped against the glass. Each drop sounded like a small, deliberate decision. I reached for my phone, deleted every missed call, and texted one line back: "I need time. Please don't contact me again." The silence after that message was the kind that hums. Days passed, then weeks. I joined a small support group the hospital counselor recommended, 5 of us sitting in a circle of folding chairs in a church basement that smelled of coffee and dust. I listened to stories of sons, nieces, caretakers, all of them kind, all of them cruel. I spoke last. My voice cracked on the words, "my daughter." One evening, a knock came at my door. When I opened it, Caroline stood there. 17 now, taller, thinner, her hair streaked with gold like her mother. She held a small box in her hands. "Mom doesn't know I'm here," she said. "Can I come in?" Her voice was steady, but her eyes flicked to the floor. I stepped aside. The smell of rain clung to her jacket. She looked around my small living room, the neatness of it, the absence of family photos that used to crowd every shelf. "I found these in the attic," she said, opening the box. Inside were letters, ones I'd written years ago. Birthday cards, thank you notes, little reminders of love, but they'd never been opened. "I thought you stopped writing me," she said. "Mom said you got too forgetful." The air went still. "She told you that." Caroline nodded slowly, and I believed her. She looked up at me, eyes wet. But then I found a stack of envelopes with my name and the postmarks. She hid them. My knees went weak. I sat down hard on the edge of the couch. "Oh, sweetheart." She sat beside me. "I also saw the papers from the bank, the ones about the money." I hesitated. "That's not for you to worry about." "It is," she said fiercely, "because they said you offered it, that you were confused, but it's not true, is it?" I shook my head. "No, darling, it's not true." She exhaled a trembling sound. "I told Dad I saw the report. He yelled, Mom cried, said you turned everyone against her." I looked at my hands. Maybe I did, maybe I had to. Caroline reached out, her fingers cool on mine. "I just wanted to know what really happened." I turned toward her. "Your mother and father were taking more than money. They were taking pieces of me, and I let them because I didn't want to lose you." She nodded. "I get it now." For a long time we sat there, the rain whispering against the window. Then she said, "They're selling the house. Mom said you ruined them, but I think they ruined themselves." Her words hit like a truth I'd been waiting to hear. When she left that night, she hugged me tight. Not polite, not quick, real, the kind of hug that means I see you now. After she drove away, I stood in the doorway and made a decision. I would sell my old house, the one filled with memories that had become traps. I would take the money and start again on my terms. The next morning, I called the realtor and said, "List it. I'm done living small." 2 years later, I woke to birds instead of phone alerts. My new apartment overlooked the harbor, small, quiet mine. I'd sold the old house, cleared every joint account, and set up a trust in my name. No one could sign anything without me again. The walls smelled faintly of sea salt and lemon oil, the scent of clean beginnings. The support group became my anchor. We laughed more now than we cried. Some of us even planned trips together. That's how I ended up booking Italy, the dream I once funded for someone else. Standing alone in Florence, the cobblestones warm under my shoes, I realized how light I'd become. I bought myself a silk scarf the color of sunrise and didn't apologize to anyone. The blue coin purse came with me everywhere, not for money anymore, but as a reminder. Inside it, Harold's note had faded but still whispered, "Don't let them make you small." I'd stopped shrinking. My finances recovered slowly. Without the constant withdrawals, my balance stayed steady. I bought new curtains, a second-hand piano, good olive oil, small luxuries that felt enormous. Guilt still came sometimes, ghostly, polite, but I'd learned to let it knock and then walk away. Then one autumn afternoon, a letter arrived. The handwriting was careful, looped. Caroline Hall. She was 20 now. The letter said she'd found more of the old mail cards I'd sent, letters her parents had hidden. "I know what really happened now," she wrote. "I'm sorry I believed them. I want to know you for real, not for what you can give." I read it 3 times before I could breathe. When she visited that winter, she brought coffee and a shy smile. "You look happy," she said. "I am," I told her, and I meant it. We walked along the pier, bundled against the cold. She told me about college, about therapy, about how she'd learned that love shouldn't come with a receipt. I listened, the wind tangling her hair, and felt something deep and quiet settle inside me, peace maybe, or forgiveness. Before she left, she handed me a photo, me, Harold, and baby Vanessa, long before money and guilt became our language. "I thought you'd want this back," she said. I slipped it into the coin purse beside Harold's note. The clasp clicked shut, soft but final. That night I made tea and sat by the window, watching the harbor lights ripple like scattered gold. I thought of the woman who once signed her name in fear and the one who now signed it with certainty. Some scars never fade, but they stop bleeding. I lifted my cup toward the dark glass where my reflection waited, older, steadier, finally whole. What would you have done in my place? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.